Hey friends, hope you're doing well. I've got another video of Greg Locke. It's a small clip, but this whole video is going to be a little longer than you're used to, and I hope you'll stick around for my comments after the video. You can find it on my YouTube page as well. So here's the video.
And people want to get mad at me for calling it out. But the facts are the facts. Stuff's all over the place. Burn sage, burn sage, burn sage. All kind of little, crystals and pendants. It's an entire section. And a book's 1 million in my local town, for Pete's sake. It's everywhere. Everywhere. And guess what is in the section right beside it? Dungeons and Dragons. Laugh at me all you want to, but I say come out in Jesus' name, all that witchcraft.
So as you can see, Greg Locke also doesn't like Dungeons and Dragons. No surprise there, right? Now, some of you may be expecting me to rant a little bit, and maybe this might come off as a bit of a rant, but I hope it doesn't. One of the things I see when I look at Greg Locke or a minister like him is I can't get over the thought that goes through my head, and that is, except for the grace of God, there go I. Now, that phrase has been misused a lot, but I see in Greg Locke a direction my life could have taken. Some of you already know this story, but in my early days of faith, I was a very conservative, very fundamentalist preacher and Christian. Now, I say fundamentalist, not evangelical, because fundamentalists were even more hardcore than evangelicals. And that was a road I was on. And the reason I took that road, even though I didn't grow up in church, is because, to paraphrase Douglas Adams, I was looking for the answer to the life, universe, and everything. And that wasn't found in the number 42. I was looking for answers. And fundamentalism offered me easy answers. It said it could tell me about everything. It could give me all the answers, and I would never have to question anything again. The only problem with that is that I'm a person who continues to ask questions. I'm a person who continues to have doubts. And that was problematic for the fundamentalist church. It even became more problematic as I went to a Christian university and began to learn more, as I began to study more, as I began to grow and I began to read other Christian writers, because I found that the fundamentalism didn't always sync up with what I was reading and what I was learning and what I was exploring. And that caused a bit of a crisis of faith for me. But I finally came to the point in my life where I realized I could be a person of faith and still wrestle with doubts and struggle with fear and still have questions. I began to understand that's a part of a good, healthy spiritual journey. But sadly, someone like Greg Locke does not appear to have gotten to that place in his life. And what makes this so bothersome and so problematic is not just the harm it's doing to Greg Locke, but the harm that Greg Locke is doing to a generation or two, or maybe even three of people coming up. It's affecting them. But the harm goes even further than that. You see, Greg Locke has bragged many times about moving people into the greater Nashville area. He's in Mount Juliet. And when he moves people into that area, and they come from all over the country to live there, they begin to vote. They begin to change the culture. So the more people he indoctrinates into this belief that is anti-intellectual, that is anti-science, and I believe is anti-faith as well, when they begin to absorb that, they begin to change the world into a micro form of a theocracy. And that hurts everyone. Now, in that video, the longer version shows Greg Locke going through a Books A Million, and he's complaining over and over again about all the books on witchcraft in that Books A Million. He's complaining about all the books of New Age spirituality. He's complaining about all the books that are there from other world religions. And that is what's troublesome, is that he is stuck in a mindset that says these things ought not be there. But that's what makes America and many other countries great, is our diversity. And things like that have been in bookstores since I was a young boy. I remember in the 1980s going into bookstores like Walden Books and various other bookstores and seeing those sections of books. Yes, you had a Christian section, but you also had books on witchcraft. You had books on New Age thought. You had books on other world religions. And that helped me as a young boy growing up in a family that didn't have a lot of money, and I didn't have access to a really well-rounded education in high school. Those books helped me have a more well-rounded view of the world, which allowed me to ask questions. They allowed me to ask a lot of questions. And that helped me not get mired down in fundamentalism. You see, the heart of my faith is about learning and growing. Now, part of that learning and growing is learning and growing deeper into a knowledge of the love of God is found in Jesus. That's my path. I'm a follower of Jesus. I'm a Christian, a Christ follower. And that's important to me. And what I want people to understand is wherever you are on your journey, you need to be able to learn and you need to be able to grow. You need to be able to move and think. But what this man is doing is telling people to turn off their minds and let him think for them. And it hurts and troubles my soul because it can affect and change the culture of our community to where our communities are not as diverse and not as opening and not as welcoming for other religions, for other flavors of Christianity. But what's important to know is that part of who we are as a people is being able to be together as one in the midst of our diversity. Those are my thoughts. If you have other thoughts or comments, please leave them in the comments. I want to thank you for tuning in and just say God bless you and have a great day.